pardon the mess here. Show you a good method of stripping wire. So, you know, I got a roll here that was discarded in a dumpster. You get a nice sharp blade, the sharper the better, and some trusty dusty PPE, personal protective equipment. These gloves, and I'm just gonna prop my foot up here so I can pull on this, you know, and not yank it towards me. And I just, you know, I get her started, just like so. And just kind of peel her down. See, if I had a method of pulling this on a motor or something, this would be perfect. But you just gotta do it like this, you know, and keep going. Like so. In the scrapping world, copper is your bread and butter. You know, so on and so forth, and I could just keep going this whole roll if I wanted to, but for the clip's sake, I will, you know, stop it right there for a second. And where's my clippers? Right there. Take some clippers. And then you just, you know, get this started. This is a thick gauge, so it's a little bit stubborn, and just peel it off, just like so. You know, so on and so forth. And this was a large piece, you know. So I'll clip it again just to show you. You know, I got quite a bit actually already stripped, but just to show you, you know. Then you fold her up however you want to. I fold them in little pieces like this. Squeeze it nice and tight. You know, I like to wrap it around and then use it to kind of wrench it down a little. You got yourself some copper, you know, and there's good. Oh man, more than 100 pounds in there. Easy. It's heavier than a concrete bag, which is 60 to 80 pounds. So copper's averaging about $3 nationwide per pound, which would be about 300 bucks. But I think our scrapyard's paying somewhere approximately like $2.25 a pound, so a couple $100. You know, it's taking me a few hours, but yeah, I don't always luck out with a roll. That was wasteful. I think it was the plumbers. I'm not positive. Nice thick gauge too. You know, this is real thick stuff. That's good stuff. I got this other thick stuff too. This stuff's real good. This girthy. You know, that's good stuff right there. But you know, most of the time I got it on pieces like this. You know, this piece of Romex here. So with the Romex, here I'll get a smaller piece to show you. The Romex here, you know, I like to straighten it out. You know, put the headphones on and just sit down and do a bucket. You straighten it all out. I get a little starter cut here, cut away from yourself. I learned that in Awanas, which is the Royal Rangers. There's an Assembly of God. Boy Scouts thing. So, you know, and you grab a hold of the guts, right, and just kind of circumcise it or whatever, you know. Take the skin off, that's trash, discard it, recycle it. And then take the paper out. The paper just protects the easy piece, which is your exposed copper, just already ready to go. You know, you throw that in your bucket. Then you got these two pieces here. Okay, so I don't have a roll. So what I do is I just, you know, I do the first one and I back cut towards myself very carefully. You know, push down with your thumb so you don't cut yourself. You know, get a good starter and boom. Right? And then you're gonna, you know, go away from yourself now. And try not to gouge in the copper because it dulls the knife up real quick. You know, and I go to Harbor Freight for my blades. There's something like 100 for $1. And, well, they're not the best blades. They dull up pretty quick. So, you know, do that, and then you can back cut again towards your, you know, up. Sometimes it's easier. This stuff's got this plastic sheeting on it. And I'm trying to stay in the screen here. But normally I would be at the ground and pull it up towards myself. You can build a little jig, which I'll probably end up doing. If I do, I'll catch it on the filmography and show you. So yeah, you just kind of shave it, you know, whatever. This stuff comes off a little easier than the blue stuff, and you just peel it, boom, 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 you know. And for the video, I'm kind of explaining, going a little slow, but I could really crank some stuff out, you know. And you take your little piece and ball it up, whatever you want to do. Boom, 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 boom. Toss it in your bucket. Go to the next one. Or you can pile up like a couple dozen of them and twist them all together. Discard of the skin. On to the next one, you know. But yeah, that's a little bit of stripping wire. I got all that left to do, and that's just a fraction of what I got out piled in the scrap yard. I've been procrastinating, so copper's up right now. It's doing pretty good, so I'm going to cash in on quite a bit of the copper and brass. I got a bunch of brass too, you know. So there's different kinds of copper, by the way. So you got number 1 copper wire, bright wire. You know, I think they consider it number 1 if it's an 1/8 inch or bigger. Then you got number 2 bright copper wire, which would be this stuff, you know, the hair, the thin hair. This came off the back of a TV, as well as this, you know, the real thin stuff. That's bright copper as well, but it's number 2. Sometimes it's red. It's just coated. And then you got number 1 copper tubing. What makes it number 1 copper tubing is it's free of any solder or paint or, you know, any contaminants. One of these, like for example, one of these, which one was it? I think it was this one. You know, but it was painted. So I just took a little sandpaper to it, and that's good enough. They'll consider that copper 1. You know, and then copper 2 piping is going to be stuff like this. So it's got solder on the end there, you know, or like this. I just didn't want to cut it down. And honestly, if I were to take my copper cutter and cut her here, where the solder is not, put that in the copper 2, and cut it here, where the solder is not, I could put the chunk in the middle that's free of contaminants into this copper 1, and this corner piece in the copper 2. You know, you kind of get it. And then, like this is going to be copper 2 because there's really, it's just it's more hassle than it's worth to cut it up, so I just toss it in copper too. I think it's a difference of 20 cents a pound. You know, you got 2 1/4 and then like 2.05 for number 2. This here, this is brass. It's a big old brass ball. I don't know what, I'm decorative or something. But yeah, it's a big old brass ball. You know, got all this brass here. There's really just the one graded brass is yellow brass. Yellow brass. There's yellow brass and red brass. Most everything that you're gonna find in brass is gonna be yellow brass. So you got, you know, this was I think a shower towel holder. This was off a light, a lamp. We have these things are nice. They're nice and chunky. It's brass fitting. So I actually am going to take this rubber off, or they'll give you a dirty price, dirty brass, which is, you know, dirt cheap. And all you got to do is take this off to get a lot more. Some of the brass is deceiving because it's not yellow like this silver almost, but you just take a file to it, and if you see that yellow, you know that it's brass, and it's heavy too. Like if this was if it was aluminum, it'd be super light. See, brass is non-magnetic like aluminum or silver. It's definitely not silver because it's got the yellow brass. If it was, you know, silver's kind of heavy too, but sterling silver is 92.5% silver. They're not going to make, this was a part in the middle of a washing machine, I think, or something. They're not going to put a silver piece in a washing machine. Brass, so it doesn't corrode, you know. Aluminum is going to be a lot lighter. You know, my aluminum, still haven't gone through that yet. And this is just what I brought inside to work on, because it's, yeah, I know I brought it in the house. I made a mess. Wife's kind of upset. I'll clean it. But it's snowing in Colorado in September, and so it's cold out there, so I'm doing a little work on the inside. I'm, you know, organizing brass, copper. I'm going to do a brass run and copper run, and probably some aluminum. So that's good. Aluminum cans are like 30 cents a pound. It takes like 30 of them to get a pound, so they're about a penny a piece. I've got a million. But, you know, I got a bunch of aluminum wiring too, so like that'll go as is. I don't think I'll strip that. Yeah, a bunch of aluminum chunks. Super light, like air light, like it doesn't feel like nothing, you know. Gosh, I wanted to show you an example of, okay, here's some aluminum examples. This was a boot from like a cast or something. This is all aluminum. It's good aluminum, right? And I just dropped that aluminum in the brass. So this is a light. It's actually a nice light. It's aluminum, super light, non-magnetic, so you know it's aluminum. So you got your channel. It's called I don't know what it's called. But it's where you put, you know, if you tile your shower surround, it's where it stops. You know, this goes on the mortar. Your tile will butt into there. It's all aluminum. As well as I got a bunch of old electronics from, you know, they're all aluminum and stuff. Another good source of aluminum is aluminum wiring. You know, this is a fat, chunky wire. It's all aluminum. I probably will strip this, but I won't strip the THHN, so it's thermal heat, something of another protection. It's this PVC piping. It's a pain in the butt. I mean, if you take a torch to it, just to heat it up to get it gushy, you can stick a knife in there and peel it off. But I've got miles of this stuff, and I was looking at it, and I'm pretty sure the price of aluminum is less than the price per pound of THHN wire. So if I bring it in as is, this piece here, I'll get more than as if I were to strip it down, take all the time, strip it down and bring it in. I'd get less money, a little bit less, but it'll add up. And so, you know, why spend the labor if you're going to make less? You just bring it in as is. Like I said, I got miles of this stuff. Just look at that thick old aluminum. Somebody's watching and I'm incorrect. Correct me if I'm wrong. Because it's not too much of a hassle to strip it. I will if it's better. Look at that. This is mainline. This is what feeds your house, the power to your house. I'm no electrician by no means, but it's a girthy wire. So yeah, that's what I'm up to. Little mess making capabilities. Yeah, thought you'd enjoy.